close the third, and then Jimmy kind of took over to start the fourth. Is that, the formula in your mind that you're hoping between you two?
Yeah, I went back to a more traditional kind of rotation, playing a full spread in the first quarter, having a block rest, and he's on the floor for those minutes, and then we're taking turns because he's obviously a guy you can run an offense through and can demand attention, create advantages, obviously get to the line. So one game, a lot to build on. The first half was kind of a weird filling out process, and Chicago got hot, but our composure, in that second half was great to see. And just the idea that we were very intentional about everything we were trying to do in the second half, and it obviously worked.
What did you just think of him overall, his game?
He's been out for a minute, and I know he was excited to get back out there. Just the idea that, again, you can throw it to him on the block, he can take advantage of matchups. He got to the free throw line, which is something we struggle with. And just making the right play, making the right reads. At the end of the day, like the way that we play, we do have to kind of adjust a little bit to slowing down and understanding where he's going to be, get him in his comfort zone. But most of the time throughout the game, if he gets stops, you run. He's just playing good basketball, and he obviously can do that at a very high level.
Describe Jimmy as a lion and that he kind of evokes confidence just with his presence. Did you feel that kind of thing just in his first game?
Yeah, you play against him, like he's a guy that you have to worry about at all times. And he can dominate a game in a lot of different ways. I'm sure from like a vocal standpoint, he's still getting comfortable. We were still having a good conversation on the sideline, trying to figure stuff out. Not trying to overcomplicate it either, but for him, like he made his presence felt across the board. And having played against him, seeing the success that he has had as a winner, there's a reason he's been to 2 finals. There's a reason, he has the reputation that he has. And again, one game, great start. I just like the different look he provided for sure.
Particularly, gets to the line 13 times. Something you guys don't do. How big is that aspect of the game?
It's huge, and as we keep going, game by game, you'd hope to have a flurry like that where you open it up. But if the game's, possession here, possession there, the momentum's not going your way, like that should be able to help us. Whether he's either getting to the line or finishing in the paint, again, he draws attention. And so if we're decisive and organized, it's hard to kind of take away everything. And I think the idea that he's like the exact opposite player of me, which is kind of funny. Like, I'm shooting 16 threes. He shot 1, got to the free throw line a lot. He's dominating the paint. I'm dominating the outside and the perimeter. Guys working around us has the potential to be really, really fun.
All right, let's break down Brandon Podziemski. He's going to be an afterthought. It's going to be a little footnote in the box score, but he had a solid game. Off the bench, 16 points, 7 of 11 from the floor, 2 of 5 from 3, 7 assists, 5 rebounds. And Malik, you asked me to look up his numbers since he's been back after missing 12 games with an abdominal injury. 8 games since he's returned, shooting nearly 50% from the floor, nearly 40% from 3, 14, 5, and 4. He's been very solid since his return from injury. He told us that the game has slowed down by just watching.
Well, the game has slowed down. He's healthy, which is probably the most important thing. But those numbers you just rattled off, I'm going to take it. They're better numbers than he had in his rookie season when he was all rookie. So his health, and it's not going to be an afterthought moving forward, Bonte. If he plays like this, all of a sudden, this, it has such a huge impact because the bench will be solidified, and that's what they're looking for now is consistency. maybe we'll stick to 31 starting lineups moving forward here, Fezzi, on your number.
There we go.
And then when you do that, not only you solidify your starting 5, also your bench also understands their rotations, they get their confidence and get their chemistry together.
Hitting shots is one thing I've seen from Brandon Podziemski since he's come back. When you're out with an injury, you just have time in the gym. So that's just him getting in the gym, getting the work in. You can see the results. But 7 assists for him tonight is him being a playmaker. When Steph is off the floor, Paz comes into the game, and he's playmaking. He's giving Steph just talked about how he's going back to the regular rotation where he's off the floor after the first quarter, and he gets a little rest more than before. His lineup and his rotation got messed up before because they were trying to get Steph in with more offensive firepower. But now you have Jimmy Butler that in those minutes when Steph is not in the game, Jimmy's looking at Steph saying, Steph just said, Jimmy's creating space for me. Jimmy's saying Steph is creating space for me, and with that, Paz is able to attack in the middle of all that. Both guys are demanding attention. Paz is attacking. He's making these layups. You saw a couple post-split actions with Draymond hitting the guy cutting again. It's just going back to that traditional Warriors movement and ball action. Those are the things you want to see from the Warriors moving forward.
Paz, before he got injured, Willie was shooting just 40% from the floor and 29.5% from 3. So his shot's gotten a lot better in the connector. And I'm just thinking about Jonathan Kuminga when he comes back. That's the ultimate X factor.
It's going to add to the bench. It's going to add to the bench. It's going to be just a more pumped up, more points, more athleticism, faster team, moving in transition. I need this fast break numbers to change. So Jonathan Kuminga come back with some speed to get some fast break points. Because right now, the Warriors, that's the one part of their game they need to change moving forward.
Let's get Coach Willie fired up here as we take a look at our River Rock Daily Jackpot. Brandon Podziemski, of course, has been named to the Rising Stars Challenge due to Cason Wallace being injured. So he's going to play for Coach Tim Hardaway, who had a #2 overall pick in the draft. And you look at the odds to win the Rising Stars game at All-Star Weekend. And Team Mitch Richmond. Of course, Mitch had the #1 overall pick, took on Ben Thompson. He's the odds-on favorite to win it. Bully, they're sleeping on you and your roster.
Well, who did the odds, I want to know?
Oh, straight from Vegas. Straight from Vegas.
Yeah, they obviously don't know much.
Oh, come on, Bully. Come on, Bully.
No, hey, look, I got ultimate respect for Mitch, Tim, and Jeremy Lin. But there's only one team playing on Sunday. We know that.
Are you going to take that graphic and show your team? Like, hey, you guys are being counted out?
So you guys are waiting until after.
It's going to take some adjustments. The first half, you can't really count that because Jimmy Butler just got into the system, is trying to get into it. What I love about the second half for the Warriors is the defensive intensity. You hold the Chicago Bulls to 25 points in the third quarter. Hold the Chicago Bulls to 17 points in the fourth quarter. It just seemed like everything turned around in the second half. It just seemed like, the Warriors were making their shots on one end. They were stopping the drives. All those drives that were hurting him in the first half, the three-point shots, they were shooting 50s in the first half. The Chicago Bulls were. The Warriors turned it up. Also, we're attacking. Obviously, it helps that Steph makes all those shots, but Jimmy Butler's influence, Draymond Green's aggressiveness. I love Pod's play tonight. Everybody on the team just seemed to be gelling, and for a first game, that's a pretty good debut for Jimmy Butler with the Warriors.
And an important win. They were down 24, and they didn't look like they were organized whatsoever. Second half happened. Steph Curry dominated that third quarter. But for the game, they shoot 50% from the field, 45 of 90, plus 11 field goal attempts, so they're taking care of the basketball. 40% from 3, 19 made threes, and then maybe as important as all that, they get to the free throw line 27 times, Butler 13, but they shoot 85%. How many times have we sat here, talked about either not getting to the free throw line or not shooting a good percentage, or not having the balance of three-point shooting, points in the paint, points off turnover. They dominated all factors, and they did that really just in the third and fourth quarter.
Third and fourth
so
quarter.
something to build on. You don't have that second half, all of a sudden you go into Milwaukee really starting from scratch. Got something to build on now.
Warriors outscored the Bulls 77 to 42 in the second half.